Welcome to Game 2 of the ESL Major League Playoffs. Today we have C9 Maelstrom going at it against their sister team C9 Vortex in a best-of-5 series. Currently, Maelstrom has a 1-0 lead going at it on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So, from C9 Maelstrom, we have Dunk Train on Lily, Biceps on Abathur, Zeratul from iDream, K1 Pro on Asmodan, and King Caffeine on Joanna. From Vortex, we have Bobby Hank Hill on Kel'Thas, Syracuse on Tassadar, Tyrael on Tazza, Malfurion from Zizix, and Jaina from Fan. So, this is currently Game 2, and it looks like we are going to see a skirmish right off the bat, right in the middle lane, as Abathur decides to set up and start sending his Locust up at the top lane from Biceps. We're going to start off with a little bit of early pushing right away from the start from that top lane, get that lane pushed out a little bit. So in the middle, we do have, you see iDream kind of lurking around, waiting to see if their team is going to initiate. It looks like King Caffeine on the Joanna is attempting to pull the enemies to him, but not going to follow through. So at the bottom lane, we do have Syracuse on his own as Tassadar doing a little bit of pushing, getting that lane prepped and ready to go and prepare for the heavy Asmodan push that is about to ensue. So they opt to send two or multiple people to deal with this Asmodan insane amount of pushing power, because Asmodan absolutely, with his General of Hell and his ability to spawn minions, can push waves super easy, and it can be super hard to take down if you only have one person in your lane. So looks like there's a little bit of skirmish going on at the gem turn-in, and not much going on other than that, except for Dunk Train Lily soloing against a very, very high damage and bursty comp up here with Kel'Thas and Jaina. Probably one of the best, burst assassin combinations in the game in the current meta. They can absolutely wreak havoc if on the same team. And that is what C9 Vortex is going for, the possibility of potentially crowd controlling, then insta giving almost anybody in a huge AoE between the two of them. So looks like iDream lurking around, ready to defend in case his Lily does get jumped, but he is going to flank around with the Abathur hat on him, and it looks like he's just going to retreat and back away from there. So a little bit of a 1v1 skirmish going on in the bottom lane between Tazza on Tyrael. He's actually pushing Asmodan out of the lane, something you don't see too often. Now, Tyrael does have a very nice shield, and he is a pretty bulky character, so he can survive a couple of hits from minions, as well as a couple of hits from Asmodan's minions that he does summon, but his sustain, he may not be able to sustain through it for over a long time. So Asmodan, we're actually seeing that right now. He is getting harassed and pushed out of the lane. He does have quite a hefty chunk of gems, 10 gems, so he's going to be a little bit careful over here. It looks like iDream is getting caught out and might not be able to escape, but he is able to escape safely, and he's going to carpet away on his magic carpet, and he's going to explore a far new land. So we do have Joanna sitting in the middle, King Caffeine with 13 gems right now, checking out this gem spot. He kind of smells something's up, but not able to get there in time. iDream going in for the kill on the enemy Kel'Thas, and not able to follow through, as he does not have the follow through talent as of yet. Oh, Malfurion goes down for first blood on the C9 Vortex, so he's going to be down for a little bit, and now it looks like C9 Maelstrom is going to push the middle lane a little bit. Excuse me. And, okay, so looks like Tassadar is forced to retreat. Fan getting some nice damage off on Asmodan. Asmodan getting extremely aggressive, despite the fact that he is low health. Luckily, from that Abathur hat, he was able to survive and push through that phase of damage. So King Caffeine getting revealed from Malfurion, and it appears as if he is just being, super aggressive, actually, despite the fact that he is against two people. He does have an extremely large shield in the form of his trait, so that allows him to survive. And of course, Joanna, extremely survivable, tanky character, so she can sustain herself against multiple heroes. Now, it looks like we have Syracuse at the bottom lane, and potentially Maelstrom might be looking for a gank over here right after they turn in their gems, but they're going to opt to turn in the gems and retreat peacefully, as the Tassadar once again checking out the area. Okay, so it looks like we're getting a big turn in over here from Vortex, and Vortex jumping on Dunk Train the Lily. Lily with little to no escapes, going to get entangled by the Malfurion root, and she's going to escape thanks to the help of the Abathur hat. So now it looks like Maelstrom's looking for a revenge play here, going in on the Malfurion, able to take him out. iDream getting low, and they are just going to be forced back, all extremely low health, and are most likely just going to retreat, take a sip of Fountain of Youth juice, and are going to retreat to their respective lanes. So middle lane getting pretty low in terms of the towers, and it looks like iDream getting extremely aggressive with that Abby hat. That is the deadly combination right there. An extremely aggressive melee assassin plus Abathar. Absolutely insane combination right now. Both Illidan and Zeratul, both great combinations, and often we see these picks often in these higher level matches of play. So it appears as if the C9 Maelstrom is actually able to get their Web Weavers a pretty reasonable amount of time for Web Weavers, pretty standard, and it looks like iDream's initiating on the Tyrael, hoping that his King Caffeine Joanna will come in time, but not able to get the pull on her. So they're instead just going to opt to push down these lanes pretty safely, really not really want to be too aggressive as to take any damage here. And Asmodan, of course, with a relatively big wave of minions, stacking up those Taste for Blood stacks over here. So we should be seeing him cue these waves coming up here. Okay, maybe not. Well, there it goes. Okay, so with this spider, he's going to be able to do a lot of pushing power down on this between his laser beam of death, and it looks like iDream is coming in for the gank on Fan losing a ton of gems there, not going to be able to escape. So yeah, that was super dangerous, and she paid the ultimate price. So it looks like top and middle are actually freed from the wrath of the spider, and they are going to be taking out this keep here as the spider continues to push on, going to be taken out by the Kal'thas. So we see Abby not really pushing out into the lane, not being as aggressive as you might expect, especially when we do see heroes such as Tyrael, move out from the top lane. But it looks like C9 Maelstrom is going to hit a pretty quick level 10, and they're going to initiate with the Void Prison on the enemy Tassadar and Kal'thas, force them to retreat as they do get a pick off on the Malfurion. So Abby doing a good job of soaking up in this top lane now, considering there's no one else in here. C9 Maelstrom is going to get a turn-in at the turning point, and Asmodan just farming up those Taste for Blood stacks, doing a good job. And Asmodan, just ridiculous. Once he hits level 10 and he picks up his Black Pool, which he has, he could just farm those so easy, pretty much clear an entire wave by himself. Tasma getting caught out by the Abbey Mines with a ton of gems, and he's going to be forced to retreat. So as far as heroic ability, we have Jug of 1,000 Cups, pretty standard. Ultimate Evolution out from the Abbey, so most likely going to copy the Zeratul to deal out a ton of burst damage. And once again, Taza getting caught out by those Abbey Mines, which are extremely great on this map for the extra vision and map awareness. We also have, of course, Void Prison and Blessed Shield, the two common picks from both Zeratul and Joanna, respectively. So it looks like iDream always lurking around. He always seems to have that awareness for who on the enemy team has a lot of gems, and he tends to lurk around in that area. So he's actually turning in, and it looked like Vortex was about to collapse on him, but they opted to retreat, as Maelstrom did pick up yet another set of Web Weavers. So doing a good job over here. Just keep rotating those gems, keeping those alive, and that is the name of the game. Be safe when you have an advantage. You get some Web Weavers, be safe. Don't lose the gems you already have, so you get some more Web Weavers and kind of keep chaining them as you progress. So K1 Pro doing a good job of farming up those Q stacks. And they're going to opt to push down this middle tower here with the help of the Web Weavers. Jaina and the Phoenix. Here's the combination I spoke about earlier going to come out, which are going to potentially zone them out, but not going to be able to do too much as you may expect between them. However, now that they are pushed back to their keep, they might be a little bit more aggressive in their defense, as King Caffeine going right up to them. He's showing that he's not fearful at all. He says, all right, you want to mess with me? Well, I'm going to walk right up to you. Let's see what you can do. And it appears as if not much. They can't really follow up with much. So looks like Taza, once again, always all game, not really having a chance to turn in. And iDream always getting a sense of that and wanting to take him out, but not really able to. So, yeah, he unable to turn in pretty much always. So deny those turn-ins. Syracuse as well. So it appears as if they have a ton of gems, definitely enough to get their first or second set of Web Weavers, and possibly another one soon after that. So it looks like iDream might get initiated on. He did get caught out thanks to the Tassadar AoE and the reveal. So it looks like the thing is, Maelstrom just doing a good job of completely dominating these turn-in points between Abathar's mines and the stealth and map awareness from iDream as well as the rest of the team. They really are doing a good job of preventing Vortex from getting anywhere near that. You see, they want to turn in so bad. They have so many gems ready to turn in, but they are simply not able to. iDream initiating. Does he have a Void Prison ready to go? He is instead going to blink out, and it looks like we are going to have a de-initiation from Maelstrom. They're going to opt to retreat and play a little bit more passively as Joanna in the top lane with a big wave of minions going to push that down. General of Hell coming out, push that down, do a little bit, and keep that Tyrael distracted. So, looks like over here in the mid lane, we do have K1 Pro once again farming up these Taste for Blood stacks. You see it every chance he gets. Absolutely, he doesn't mind burning that black pool, and it's definitely worth it to get that huge wave of extra damage for his Taste for Blood, be able to deal extra damage in the long run. So it looks like King Caffeine scouting out. He is going to get caught out and going to be forced to retreat. Does have the Avatar hat on him, so he does have a little bit of protection, but being that he is Joanna, he is going to be able to survive that with relative ease. So it looks like Maelstrom's gonna opt to take out this Bruiser camp over here, and potentially Vortex might be looking for a fight here, and they are down a tier of talents right now until they hit level 13, so they do want to be a little bit careful. But it looks like iDream finally going in on that Taza, on that Tyrael that he always has been wanting to initiate on all game. You can really see the thirst for blood on him. He's just zooming around, hovering around that Tyrael all game, and finally got a chance to initiate, but not enough damage, not enough burst as of yet to take him out. Now, he looks like he is going to start to get collapsed on. He's going to get pinched from both sides. Tassadar coming in, but instead he's going to initiate on Tassadar. Tassadar turning invincible and going to be able to get away. Now, it looks like they are simply grouping up over here, turning in some more gems, protecting their teammates as they do turn in the gems, and that is kind of the exact opposite of what Vortex is able and being able to do thanks to the map awareness and spider mines from Abathar. So, it looks like both teams are kind of at a standstill here. Maelstrom pretty much the aggressors all game, so the thing is, with Heroes of the Storm, if you are always reacting, you're eventually going to lose, and that is what Vortex has been forced to be doing all game. They've been having to react to the enemy Maelstrom, such as the initiation. Void Prison, extremely great at initiating and forcing fights. That's exactly what it's going to do. Tyrael going to Judgment on Joanna, a little bit of a weird choice in my opinion, but it looks like we are going to see a de-initiation from both teams, and once again just farming up. We see all game farming up those Taste for Blood stacks. Asmodan players, take note at how often you want to be doing that. You want to constantly be able to take out those waves, especially when you do have your black pool up, and you want to get it to a point to where you could just instantly clear out a wave with a Q without your black pool. So with that said, looks like, oh, what a surprise, clearing out that wave as well. So you see the immense amount of pushing power from Asmodan, just absolutely ridiculous. Looks like King Caffeine's got to initiate on this Tyrael. Once again, 48 gems. That is a ridiculous amount of gems. That is almost an entire set of Web Weavers out on its own, but they have not had a chance to turn in all games. So they're just going to defend bottom lane, going to push this out a little bit in preparation for the Web Weavers. Definitely a good option. And once again, they do have a tier lead, a tier of talents lead out on Vortex. So that's going to give them a pretty big advantage, pretty noticeable advantage in any fight that they do wish to partake in. So it looks like they're going to opt to push multiple lanes at once, where they do have the bottom lane with a huge amount of pushing power between Asmodan and the Web Weaver over here, clearing out waves instantly, and the Joanna over here being able to survive long enough to keep multiple enemies distracted. So, of course, Abathar amazing with Joanna, amazing with melee assassins such as Zeratul, as I spoke about before. So just very, very great synergy between the team. Okay, so it looks like they're going to opt to retreat, and now they may be looking for a boss here, as the turn-in points are coming in back up within 5 seconds. So most likely they're gonna look to turn in some more gems they have, but actually iDream potentially looking to get a kill on Fan. He's going to opt to blink out, and he's going to retreat bottom lane, still pushing, however, actually being very, very aggressive at the bottom lane, while iDream and Abathar are going to keep the top lane distracted, and they're really going to have to split up their resources. And once again, Taza 64 gems. I can't stress enough how much that is hurting them. So the Judgment coming out on Azmodan. They are throwing everything they have on Azmodan. The Jug of 1,000 cups, excuse me. Oh my goodness, like a tongue twister. Jug of 1,000 cups is going to be able to heal him a little bit, but not enough to sustain him and keep him alive fully. So now finally, Vortex is going to get the breath of fresh air that they really desperately needed and wanted to stay in this game. So they're going to make a move for these gem turn-ins, as they do have a ton of gems just sitting in their inventory, and you definitely want to be spending those gems, getting the turn-in and getting the return on the turn-in in the form of these spiders. So it looks like iDream's going to initiate on 4 of the enemy. Vortex in on the zone. He's going to void prison them to keep them distracted for as long as possible, hoping that his teammates will arrive in time to contest this. However, they are going to be forced out, as they do have a teammate Azmodan down, so they are down a man, and the enemy Vortex are going to turn in and be able to get a set of web weavers that they so desperately need to get back in this game. Now, I say it, however, they're not so far behind if you really consider it. They did catch up in terms of talent tiers. They are at a little bit of a level disadvantage, but they both have level 16 talents, so they're not that far behind, and they could potentially turn in another set of web weavers right after this one. So if they chain these together, they can absolutely turn the tides of the game and make it so that they have the advantage. However, the Azmodan, of course, is going to be able to push down these wave of minions so easy, as he has been doing very well all game. And iDream initiating out on Fan, going to burst him down. However, he's not going to get low enough to be taken out, and now iDream is going to be forced to retreat. Jaina taken out in the back line, and the Jug of 1,000 Cups doing a good job of absolutely sustaining the entire Maelstrom team. So Vortex going to be forced to retreat. The only spider left at the top lane. However, they're going to opt to split and push this middle lane down while they are looking to gain control and map control so that they can control these turn-in points, because they do have so many gems over here. You see they have over 2 turn-ins, or over 2 web weavers that they could 2 sets of web weavers they could possibly get from the amount of gems that they have. So they are gonna, looks like Maelstrom's gonna opt to take some siege camp at the bottom, and now this could actually give Vortex the chance they need to turn in once again and get yet another set of web weavers. I can see that's what Taza is looking to do. However, he's also conflicted as to whether group up with his team or split and possibly turn in those gems. And he's possibly looking to do either of those. But Joanna, King Caffeine over here, once again, the entire Maelstrom team being extremely aware of how many gems Vortex actually has and trying to keep them away from those turn-in points, especially at crucial times. So they're just going to, let's see, they're going to kind of do some little hit-and-run tactics, try to keep them off the gen turn-in points as much as possible. This is going to be an extremely important fight here, because this could potentially help Maelstrom hit level 20, which of course is extremely important. But we see the Phoenix come out and the iDream initiation. Looks like the Judgment coming out on iDream. He's going to take a little bit of damage, but not too much follow-up from Vortex to follow up with that damage that they so desperately needed to take out iDream. So Vortex getting extremely low, Malfurion taken out, and it looks like the entire Maelstrom team is going to collapse. Oh my goodness, that extremely high damage taste for blood that Azmodan has been stacking all game, hits 2 enemies at once, dealing a ton of damage. So they're going to push down this top wave. You can really see how much that Q does, and from an amazing range as well. So Taza actually getting a little too aggressive, and iDream going to initiate on him. Not going to have much mana left to actually follow through with that, but they did a good job of getting in and getting out when they need to. That's something I've been noticing all game. I feel like Maelstrom really knows their limits as far as when to fight, when not to fight, and that's what they've really been doing well all game. They haven't just been saying, hey, we got a lead, let's fight right now, let's push this down right now. They say, hey, we have a lead, is it worth it for us to attempt to push this down, or can we be doing something more useful? And you see them often back off, even though a lot of This is something that a lot of newer players don't often know a good gauge of how to do. You know, when to back off, when to push that lead, and when to be aggressive. So they are going to get the boss with, looks like Vortex is going to contest. They definitely do smell what's up. We do have the Tassadar vision coming out, and it looks like they are going to back off. Boss getting low, but a little bit of a skirmish maybe coming out. The Web Weavers. Okay, so between Johanna and the Web Weaver, they're going to be forced to defend while Maelstrom takes down this boss and takes it pretty cleanly and easily, almost uncontested. So we are going to see Vortex just giving it all they got in terms of defending, because we do see the Spider at the bottom lane pushing down to the core while Maelstrom is going to push on their own between the top lane, and they also do have the Spider at the mid lane, which is about to get taken out, but they're going to push down the top lane with Boss, the final remaining keep in the game. I'm actually surprised this lasts this long, but with the level 20 advantage and all their heroic abilities up, this could be the final engagement once again. Instead, it looks like they're going to opt to back out. We see that Phoenix come out to do a little bit of zoning. Like I said before, really know when to pick their fights, and they do a great job of that. However, they're going to reinitiate iDream, blinking in and then blinking out, getting a nice little cleave out on the enemies. A boss pushing out onto the core, and excuse me, there was another keep remaining, but pushing out onto the core. It looks like they're going to get a ton of damage on it. Vortex not going to be able to do much to defend it, and it looks like that is going to get taken down. Good game from Maelstrom. Good game to both teams. Definitely a well-played game. Maelstrom just really able to control the turn-in points and the engagements on their terms all game. So Vortex really didn't get to decide when to fight, when to engage, when to disengage. The entire pace of the game was pretty much dictated by Maelstrom, and they absolutely performed that well. So good game to both teams. I definitely enjoyed watching and spectating this series. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe for some more casts in the future. And with that said, thanks for watching. Peace!